talk now, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good afternoon from Monika Khanna. I am the strategic head at Mount Olympus Group of Schools, Gurgaon. So I've got a very fantastic, the topic from School Reformer. Thank you so much, Miss Praveena, to be my host. Because, these days, when you are in the 21st century, 2022 already with us, we've already gone away with COVID and we've already fight without. So this is parental engagement has become really important for child's life, us as family, as school, as everyone. And I think it is the right time to talk about it. So, when I talk about parental engagement, people generally say that in schools, parents are allowed to be a part of the communication, their assemblies, their discussion. They can help them in multiple ways. And but it is not restricted to only that. It is not restricted to only parents coming to the school and doing any talk or anything like that. So there are multiple ways a parent, school, and children can collate together and make and give a successful child at the end. So if I go by point wise, I'm not carrying any PPT, I'm sorry, because it's all in my system, because I have seen it's been almost like around 17 years of engagement in schools, where I work for different categories and types of schools, where we have tried that my main focus is that the parents are happy, school is happy, the connect between both of them are together, and then they can raise up good children. And that's my forte, and I think I would be able to give some good inputs talking about it. Maybe the first thing is the trust. What if there is always a tendency whenever we grow, when we are children are raising, we have an issue that with school my child should go, even if you take admission after so many cross check and shortlisting, still when your child goes first day, the mothers are always involved, whether my child has eaten food or not, whether the teacher is taking care or not. So it's general questions which always all the parents have there in mind. But when there is this parental involvement, when school allows gates for parent to open up, come inside, it will be so nice that, initially the first 2 months of the pre-primary parents, they're allowed to go to the reception, give their child and hand over to the teacher. There is a kind of trust factor when they see their teacher, see how they see, because parents look up to that teacher. How are they looking at my children? So I think that makes a lot of sense. So I think it builds up the trust, because parents should not just, of course, parents should be restricted to go inside the premises, but at least to a level where, the trust build up is happening. The second is like quality of education. Nowadays, we already have like one kid at home. We are always trying to give them the best. We want parents and we want the school to do ultimately best. We have a checklist that school should do this, school should do that, school should do that. But no, at home, parents are also doing the similar thing. Whatever they have learned, there are, as parents, me, I have gained some knowledge. My husband has gained some knowledge. Everybody in different streams. Why can't at the end of the time, all that what we have learned can give it to the children? Because I'm sure every children would not go what one parent is following up. So I always feel school should be absolutely open to, ask parents to come, give them the talks. One could be a doctor, one could be an engineer, what could be, a pilot, to give them the real time the experiences to talk between the parents and the school, so that the children can see up, oh, my friend's father is a pilot and he has done this much and he's raising a good family. Why can't I be the one? So I think that helps in quality of education, because it becomes more practical rather than learning only about on a paper or a book that this is the way how I would want to become a doctor or an engineer. It is always better to see the people and look up to them and ask them the questions. It is more experiential, it is more good. And when parents come to the school, they also feel it, okay, we have that responsibility to give our best of the talk, best of the vision, and that the whole system goes really well. So I think it really improves the quality of education, what we do in school. If it adds up to the parents involvement by giving them the talks, it really helps. The third major thing is it improves communication. when I talk about communication, mostly, I'm generally, I help schools, setting up schools initial years, so I have seen there is a little communication there is a gap. How it happens is that, parents expect that if my child is going to that school, he or she would be given one, two, three, four, five, six things, which has been maybe promised by the school at the time of the admission. On the other hand, few schools are very fair. I would always say schools try level best to ensure that the child is happy. So school also have some limitation. They will come up to their expectation, but there could be some limitations. So when the initial years are good, but when you grow up, you grow higher, when you spend some time with school children and knowledge around, 3, 6 months, 7 months, that down the line, parents start feeling that there is a communication gap. I was told this, but my child is not able to get this. So that gives insecurity to the parents as well. Teachers are right at that way that they feel, no, now the child is settled. I might say this, and I can't stop not saying all this because it will help my I already have so many children to take care. I think itni information is important, but then when it comes to communication gap, I request all the schools and the parents that this communication gap should never come between a school and a parent. So these involvement of engagement programs with parents, like for example, call them as many times for their assemblies. You can have a parent teacher assembly. You can call when you're having, because schools keep doing so many activities. It could be science experiments, it could be art and craft competition. Call few parents, keep calling parents at the school so that they see what is happening, and that builds up the communication. Because even if the parent has some issue or a concern, but when they meet the teacher one to one, they might ask that question. So I think it helps the communication gap between both of them. Because maybe as parents you are thinking something else, but when you go and see the school and you see, oh, that teacher, when they said that they refused for something, they refused because it was right. Because many parents have different kinds of expectations from school. School has some limitations of controlling because of the security, because of the discipline. So I think when this gap can be only resolved, this communication gap, when they are in the school together. And adding on to that, the very important thing, which is just coming off from my communication pointer, the fourth point is misconception. Because parents has a lot of misconceptions about schools, that the school has many schools because schools do a lot of activities and communication activities, and they charge some amount from the parents, maybe a dress, a charges for a dress or something like that. Parents always feel that why is that amount being charged? So there is a misconception there, maybe overcharging or because, and 90% what happens, parents refuse to give that money. But until and unless you don't pay, you go to the school and you see how much the school has put in effort, because it is only not the costume, it is the effort of 1 month backstory, where teachers have taken out time from their zero periods, their free periods, and taught those children those activities so that they could perform on stage. So all that amalgamation of time, energy, discipline, it comes out well when the parents see the child on stage. So I think the misconception is going to be resolved when the parents come inside the school and be a part of that journey. What we do is, at Mount Olympus, I'm very active. What we do is that we discuss with the principals and the entire team. We divide the parts in different areas. Like for example, if there is an annual day, we divide, there is going to be a dress rehearsal, there is going to be a script writing days. So there are being divided, and we also call parents to be a part of it, to be a part of that training journey, so that they see how much time is being spent at the back end. So these misconceptions really work. Like for example, when these parents, multiple, because like parents get associated with few people, maybe the admission counselor or the front office in charge, or anybody who they meet generally, because they will not be meeting the principal every day or something. What happens that they have some questions in mind, they enter the school, they have some questions, and then they just talk to a few people, and then there is a question mark to the answer, because many a times, if you more, for example, if you have a query related to the academics, and you go to an accountant and say कि मुझे ये problem है, I have this problem, resolve it, she would not be able to resolve it. You have to come back to the principal, you have to come back to the main children. So our tendency at Mount is, and I request all the schools, what they do is, whenever you find any parent with any query, any question mark, it is always better to sit and resolve it then and there, because they are the part of only misconception. So whenever we keep doing these parental engagements, like we call our parents for, the special assemblies, we do even festive events, like we just did Dandiya, where more than 3,600 parents had come, and the half of them were ours, half were with the community. As many parents are meeting, whenever they meet, they will come and discuss something. They might talk good about the school, they might even talk something negative about the school. So you have both the point of views. It really helps the school to work on those both things and take it further. So I think these misconceptions should be resolved only by calling the parents at school. And it really helps, yes, because we've seen it ourselves. Then it is the culture of the school. My fifth point is the culture of the school, because what happens, parents does not know what's happening in the school. They know, sometimes we have this misconception in our parents mind that, that school is very English named school, so it could be a very convent school. If a school has a very Indian name, they feel it's a very desi school. The school parents do a tag on these schools. But when you become all the part of these activities, these assemblies, all these things, then only you come to know what is the culture of the school. Because until and unless you're not a part of that inside, you don't see how the teacher are talking to your children. Because then you have pointers also. Maybe, when your child comes back home and there you feel, oh, my child is not speaking in English. I send my child to go to school to speak in English, but when he comes back, he's not speaking. So you are not happy about it. You are discomfort. But when as parent, as a guard, you go to the schools for these activities, it helps to see how the teachers are talking to your child, how, which way are they telling them about the rules, about the discipline. You understand the whole culture of this, which I think it really works well, because then you can, you can assess it, you can communicate. If in case there is any query, you can talk to the teacher then and there. But otherwise, if you don't know, if you've not been a part of it, then I think you don't have that capacity as parents to tell or question a teacher that, that why is this not happening. Because I've seen many parents, they don't even turn up for the PTA, which they should be there in the school for 5 to 10 minutes. Because when you participate in each and every your house functions, the traditions you follow at home, I think school is your child going for 12 years every day without fail. You have full right in the school. You can go as many times as when it has been called by the school, and then, understand these culture of the school, which really helps building it up, which really works well. So I think culture of the school and trust really helps parents and school help and amalgamate for a better future of the children. So I have my sixth point, which is like it improves the teacher morale. Many times what happens, the new teachers, whenever a new session begins, there are multiple pointers which is given by the leaders of the school, that you have to maintain the record, you have to maintain the attendance, you have to ensure that the child's class, the notebooks are checked, everything is being marked. So there's so many inputs which is going in the teacher's brain as well. And the new teachers who joins in, and whenever the new session begins, it's always little, not a fear, but yes, you're a little cautious that what will happen, what will the parent feel. There are multiple ways, where you fear out, because there are parents have only one child to handle at home. Teachers are our biggest asset, which takes care of at least 30 kids in each class, and they are responsible for each and every child's notebook, each and every child's almanac, which I must say that, it is really difficult task. Hats off to the teachers, but then teachers also fear. When your children can fear to go up to the stage and speak, teachers also have that fear, what will the parent feel? Because they have already a lot of instructions from the leaders. So what happens when when these parents are at those assemblies or at those events, when they see their teacher one-on-one, teachers also feel a little, they feel a little warm. They feel that, there is an encouragement from the parent. I'm able to connect with the parent. That parent knows me. Though 99% teachers don't make mistake, but sometimes what happens that, something might skip. But if there is a great parental involvement or an engagement, which is helping a communication between a teacher and a parent, then teacher feels little relaxed. They are a little more relaxed. They feel, their morale is boosted when one parent says, oh, my child is doing really well. My child, ma'am, thank you so much. The one thank or one parent makes your teacher's morale so boosted that she's going to put those same much more positive effort to your child more, because it has to go that whatever positive feedback which you're going to be giving to the teachers are going to give it more to your children only. So that's what I'm saying. It's always a cycle which revolves around, So I think whenever there is parental involvement, apart from parents being more trusted and confident, teachers also feel encouraged, and their morale is boosted, which ultimately helps in your child's growth itself. So I think that's really important to have these parental engagements where teachers are also given too much importance. Then I have my seventh point, which is like, you can voice your concerns. Sometimes, what happens, I was in one of the schools where I was working a few years back. There was a little concern which parent had, and what happened that, they were really very close to me. But when were sharing, they were having some concern related to the child's geography subject. They were not happy with the results and modules, but the parent was busy, so they could not come to the school, neither they could speak. So there were some concerns which was going in their mind, and I left the school, so they were not able to talk to anybody because I was more interested, and I was more close to them. So parent had some concern, and ultimately, after 4 5 months, I think they had sent for a transfer request that I would like to change the school. And I somehow met them, and I told them that, and then they gave me the whole story. And I told them, did you go? Did you speak to any of the teacher, your headmistress, their principal, their director, anybody? And the parents said, no, ma'am, because you were not there, we could not raise any concern. And then, we were very discouraged, and, we felt moving out. But I think that's wrong, because as parents, you took time in understanding that school. There is a checklist of more than 100 fancy schools around. You have shortlisted, you have put in your brain and given that trust to one school, and that you have put your child there, no matter whichever school. But then if you are not able to voice your concern, then I don't think that you are, it should be okay to just take a decision. Because a school which is having more than 2000 kids in their whole school, 30 kids in each class, it's sometimes very difficult to maybe when they're doing so good things, maybe one thing they could miss out. But if you have a concern, you must go and voice it, because you can speak to the headmistress. If you're not satisfied, you go and talk to the principal. If you're not happy, you can go and speak to the chairman as well. You are a parent, you can speak, but you must voice it. If you just keep it at yourself, I think then it doesn't make sense. Then you are not liable to take the decision of just moving out a child of the school, because you've not raised it. We talk to even the school does that. Sometimes, in our schools, we are so open. For example, if we feel that there is any discomfort, maybe our parents must be feeling, we immediately speak to them. We send them these feedback, feedback pointers. There is this link which we share to our parents so that they can keep giving feedback. Feedbacks helps understanding their concern, and then we work on those concerns. This is how any school can grow, and this is how any parent will be satisfied. So I think this really makes better by raising your concerns. So, I think I've come out with a lot of pointers, but I still have few points that, there is this saying, about, you preach, you do and all. So I say that, whatever you preach at home, parents, if you're not doing the same, then it's vain. So, for example, if a parent expects a child to, do well, do good acting, do good dancing, do smile on stage, do a good artwork, because parents expect that and they want their child, actually drawing karo, actually painting karo. They keep saying that multiple times. But you know what? If you do the same thing in front of his class, in front of an assembly, or in front of their any activation, when they see that parents doing the same thing in a good manner, in a good way, where teachers are also praising, child feels very confident. They themselves feel, oh, my mama used to say that do a good drawing. Now my mama is a winner of this Mother's Day competition. And I'm going to next time prove it to my mother that mama, I have also done it. So I think it really helps. So these competitions wherein, whenever schools ask you to come for these Mother Day celebration, Children's Day celebration, Grandparents Day celebration, you must go, because until unless you won't go, it doesn't work well. So I think that helps. Whenever you are teaching your children, do in front of them, show them the, get a consolation prize, because schools keep giving these small awards to the parents also, just so that their children can see, and it's a vice versa, the growth improves. So I think this really works well. Coming out to my third last query is, it improves the classroom behavior. As many parental involvement and engagements are there, there is a good communication between the teacher, parent, and a school. It improves the classroom behavior. Child, for that matter, when it comes to child knows whatever I do mischief, my teacher knows my parent. So my teacher would be able to speak to my parent. They know each other. So I should be very disciplined. I should do my good work. Same thing happens with the teacher. Teacher, if in case she, of course, teachers are great, they do wonderful job, but even if they are in some relaxed mode, they know the child knows that the teacher, the parent has met. So maybe there is a discussion. My parent knows that I'm a good teacher, so I should do the best. I should be motivated and keep doing a great work. Similar way, it fashions happen to parent. Parent will also not speak anything against the teacher in front of the classroom, because they all are now in a sync and in a position where they all are friends. So it actually improves the classroom behavior. Classroom behavior helps to improve their grades, their learning, their training, which eventually happens great for the children only. So I think that the whole aura of parental engagement helps with all this. My second last point is academic achievement. Because when these classroom behavior is better, when children are focused, teachers are focused, parents' expectations are clear, I am 100% sure the academic results of your children will do wonders, because you have already worked at all levels. Now it is that on the happy zone, everybody has to get marks with good results. So I think academic achievement will be really well if all these pointers are taken care well in amongst the school. Last but not the least, the last point is a confident child. These days, there are many schools, there are many children, there are many things which parents and schools, put on to the children, expect out of children. But if it is being taken care well by maintaining all these pointers, your child will be confident child, because he's a skilled child. There are experiential learning, there's a practical learning, there's a cultural learning. Everything is being taken care well. All this, this linkage, this bridge is clear. So I think then you raise a good, confident child. So I think that is what we all want. Best children to do well in their, in their academics, in the school, outside life, their life skills, and come with great results and go up to good universities. So I think I have amalgamated as many points, Ms. Pravina. And I think, I've already covered all my points, because my whole focus whenever I am with the school is only with the parental engagement. And I don't even, I can't even tell you that when we sit as a whole team at Mount Olympus in my own school, we ensure that every activity we are doing, where we have some amounts of parents coming in, sometimes for primary, sometimes from senior, sometimes from middle, so that every parent is a part of the school. And I think it really helps. Schools are doing wonderfully well these days, and they're remarkably doing great work, because there's so many schools already. So I think when we put on these comments and pointers more further, I think we can raise up to good children. Thank you so much.
I agree. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the information provided. It's a very good. Miss Monika, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Right. Yes. So we have some questions lined up here, though you have covered 99% of the points, like whatever the audience have asked. You talked about the healthy ways of, parents' involvement in the school's education and all that. This is a very different question. Like, it is related to the topic, and again, it's on the contrary. They're asking, schools often don't like parental involvement too much. Do you think this is right?
No, I don't think so because nowadays, so I am in Gurgaon where, the school involvement has been changed. Now, I don't think maybe the old school thoughts, the schools which are already set, may be restricting that because of the number of kids. It's maybe not in their mind, but it is because of the security and, the number of kids. But otherwise, all the new schools, I'm in Gurgaon, I have seen multiple, schools giving that share to the parents also, because as I just mentioned, we have one kid. We have, as we have to give that kind of trust to the parents. And as many schools I know, they are involving parental engagement. And you know what, this school reformist topic is also for that. But if in case any school is not doing that, maybe after this they are drawn, because I have seen a growth in schools just by adding parental engagement, because the whole game becomes so fair that everybody becomes a part of the learning for the children. So I think I don't agree with that, honestly, Ms. Pravina, because these days there are a lot of parental engagements happening.
Right. So, talking about the school's responsibility of educating their child, do you think coaching classes can educate the child better than a school? Or is coaching classes only a shortcut to doing well in exams?
I think I agree with the second point. Maybe it could be a shortcut, but I just mentioned, for me, for us, even for the vision of our school as well. When I'm talking about me, so I'm talking about my school as well. If this whole communication system of teacher, parent, school becomes beautiful, I don't think extra classes are involved and required, because that trust factor. Because if the parent is encouraging teacher and teacher is giving the same response, it becomes a duty to ensure that the child does better. She will Teachers see are great amongst ourselves. They are such hard workers, they will go extra mile to just ensure that the child is happy and that the parent is happy, and I can vouch on that. Our teachers do that, and I have seen multiple teachers doing that in areas in schools. So I think everything belongs to that. When you are not able to voice, because if in case parent is not raising a concern that my child is not getting a little extra effort, maybe my child is not doing well, until unless you won't say and just put a child in an extra classes, I think it is wrong, because you have to speak up. And then I am 100% sure teachers and principals will be together and plan out extra timing so that the extra classes are not given. It is all about the planning, Pravina, and schools these days are very fair in doing that. And I think we must do that together, because if you talk, only then the resolution will come. Otherwise, the resolution will not come.
Right. So, what's the impact of parental involvement on learners' performance?
That I just mentioned, that is the last thing that my whole talk was among that when this parental engagement gives that trust, because parent is happy because now they trust the school, because they can see whatever misconceptions they were having, now it is gone, because they've seen the child doing well, teachers putting their effort. When all that is there, in perspective of the child knows now both my parent and my teacher knows each other, and they've seen parents also doing well in front of their class, so their expectation also is like that, now I'll also do better, so they're also encouraged. So I'm just saying, and even the school for that matter, if school has feel it, if school is now not restricted, that okay, now my parents are happy, my teachers are happy, the whole thing, so I can put in that that back effort, like I can give that support where all my children are doing well. So I'm saying that when all this is done well and amalgamated, 100% the academic score of the child will go well. The child's confidence will be best. And I think that only works these days. Nothing else will work until and unless we all are not on the same page.
Okay, I guess a couple of more questions are there, but still, like, you have covered each and every point.
Yeah,
So,
thank
School
you.
Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. And we also thank the audience for participating in the event. We will end the session now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pravina. Thank you so much. And thank you, parents, and thank you, audience.